What's up, people? It's Tuesday night, so right now we're going to go straight on the record. We are expecting some guests. They've been running a little late, so what we're going to do is we're going to run an interview with NBA center, former NBA center Adonal Foyle, who was in Trinidad recently to promote his book, Too Tall Foyle, which will be adapted into an animated film feature. You know what? Why am I talking? Roll the tape. We're still on the record, and tonight we have a special guest, former NBA player Adonal Foyle. Mr. Foyle, welcome aboard, man. How you doing?
Good, thank you for having me.
Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago.
It's good to be back here. I've been here in 2010, so it's good to be back.
Right. So you used to play basketball for first the Golden State Warriors and then the Orlando Magic. But you're very far from that American roots. You know, you grew up in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Tell me about life.
Well, I think, for me, one of the things that was amazing about growing up in the Caribbean is that I grew up on an island called Canawan, which is at the time probably about 500-600 people. So to be able to go from there to Union Island where I learned basketball, and literally within a year and a half, I was in the United States and a scholarship. And I think what's amazing about what we're able to do in the Caribbean is that right here, I was able to learn basketball in a very small island where one of the soldiers that was as part of the Persian Gulf War brought basketball back to Union Island. And my height made me very suited for it, and everybody kind of encouraged me to play what I wanted to or not. And instead of being a cricket, kind of a fast bowler, I became a basketball player.
Right.
And literally got the opportunity to go to the United States to get an education. And, ultimately it worked out that I didn't only got an education, but I got a chance to play at the highest level in the NBA.
But the transition from St. Vincent to playing in the NBA, something you're not mentioning at all is that, you had very humble beginnings on Canawan, Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think, when you grew up in a developing country like in Canawan, I think what I remember was, and many nights my grandmother didn't have enough for us to eat, and, drinking some bush tea and crackers and going to bed, and everything you kind of ate came from the ground. You kind of planted it into the soil. So it's a Caribbean way of life. So, God forbid if you didn't have enough, if something happened to the crops, you wouldn't be eating for years. So I remember just being, my grandmother just doing everything she can on a daily basis to put food on the table. And it's something that I took with me for the rest of my life because it informed who I am, right? It's that nothing phases me. It doesn't matter what you show me. I know where I came from. And I kind of carry that tradition with me throughout my career.
Right. But it wasn't a hop, jump, step from Canawan straight to the parquet courts in Golden State. You had to go to university. You went to Colgate University. And tell me something about being a student athlete, the culture shock.
Right. I think that one of the challenges that we have in the Caribbean is that, and I think in the United States to a greater extent, is that the notion of the duality between sports and academic has been kind of deleted a little bit, because I think a lot of people believe that you can't be a student athlete. And I really, coming from the Caribbean, having an amazing opportunity to get an education, I think for me, being the first person in my family that will have an opportunity to graduate from college was so amazing for me that the idea that I had to choose between being a basketball player and being a good student is like a thought that I couldn't bear. I really wanted to be a student athlete. I wanted really badly. So I think that it was a challenge because the demands of a basketball career at that level and the college that I went to, Colgate was a Division I college, so you have to compete very hard on the basketball court, but then when you come out of the basketball court, you had to compete really, really hard because we had some of the best students in the country going to Colgate. So, and I was able to graduate magna cum laude from Colgate.
Which is not, explain what that means for my view. What's your grade point average?
It's over a 3.6, you know, for magna cum laude. And the whole idea is that to get honors at one of the most prestigious universities in the United States, but to also do it while having a full basketball load, to me was the big thing, trying to really convince athletes that they can do both, that there's virtue in doing both.
And your life now has led you to write this book, Too Tall Foyle.
Yeah.
Right? So, exactly. So tell me about Too Tall Foyle. Let me get that there. Yeah. All right, so tell me about Too Tall Foyle.
Well, I think one of the great thing about when you come from a rich cultural background like we have in the Caribbean, I think that sometimes you have a tendency to lose that because when you go away, you forget, and then the next generation doesn't have a chance to interact with you, let's say, that the generation before did. So one of the worry is that in really interacting with kids in the Caribbean, I wanted to promote the idea of literacy, and I wanted to also have, tell my story that what they're going through, that they can find possibility as well in whatever difficulty and adversity they have, that it's part of who we are, it's part of the human condition. So if you have young people that can understand that and they can start charting their course in life and finding the path, not by worrying about the obstacles that they will discover, but it's finding ways to get around them or over them. So this book was an attempt to really tell the next generation of kids that, obstacles is part of being in life, making mistakes, falling down, getting up. That's what life is about. And so this is going to be a series tracking my life from the Caribbean all the way to the United States and some of the challenges that I experienced along the way.
Okay. Well, thank you. We are with Adonal Foyle, former NBA player and writer, and all-around good guy. So stay tuned. We're still on the record.
Tonight.